voice. Hmm? Hello. 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 Hello, students. So we'll wait for another 5 minutes, then we'll start off. Let people are joining, let them join. Then we'll start. Maybe another 1-2 minutes, we are going to start the session. Thank you for taking out time and joining the session. Voice, huh? Voice. Hello. I have muted myself. Urmila has saying that not audible. I'll make myself available. Give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Thanks, Urmila. Right. Sound is there, but I have muted myself because I am waiting for people to join. Hello, students. Thank you for taking your time and joining for this webinar. So this session, very briefly, we will see the preparation and tips for quant for bank exams, quant as well as data interpretation for your bank exams. Now, the point is like most of the students, most of you are preparing for bank exams, say that maths, I left it at 10th standard. We are not able to recall these concepts. How should I prepare for quant section? How to maximize our score in quant section? All these things we discuss. All these things, questions generally we come across, right? So we are going to address some of those questions in this webinar. If you have any query, any question to be answered, yes, you can always post your query. I'll take it up at the end of the webinar because I don't want to take it in the middle. Once you post the question, you please have patience, wait till the end of the session. Definitely I'll take up your query. So we'll be focusing on preparation and tips for quant and DI for bank exams. Basically, we will see how to prepare for quant and DI, how to maximize your score, and also how to prepare for these bank exams, how to make your preparation. That is, what's the method, what's the approach. That is what we are going to discuss as a part of this. I'll also take up some questions. Maybe you take your speed maths, or you take your quadratic equations, or you take your individual questions. We'll take a few questions and we will see how to approach those questions. What is the regular approach? Then what difference we are going to make your career if you join us. These are the things we are going to discuss as a part of the session. That means if you take coaching, how you solve that question. If you are not taking coaching, how you look at that question. So regular approach and how coaching is to make a difference in your selection process. All those things we are going to discuss as a part of this session, students. All right, let us start. So we'll discuss about weightage of quant and DA in different exams. Maybe IBPS PO clerk, SBA PO clerk, RP and other exams. We'll also look at various question types and we'll discuss preparation tips and strategies. And we'll also discuss about new question types appeared in bank exams, particularly quant section in the last 3-4 years. Right, students? You can look at weightage and duration in various exams. Now, as you can see here, IBPS and SBA PO, you have 35 questions and 20 minutes. Each section is separately timed, IBPS and SBA PO. If you look at your main exam, you have 35 questions, 45 minutes. Right? Similarly, IBPS clerk, 35 questions, 20 minutes. Main exam, 50 questions, 45 minutes. RRB officer scale 1, you have 40 questions in prelim exam, 40 questions in main exam. Officer scale 1 and office assistant. No section wise time limit till last year in RRBs, that is regional rural banks. Then we have RBI assistant. Most of you will be applying for this RBI assistant also. You have 35 questions, 20 minutes and 40 questions in main exam to be solved in 30 minutes. RBI grade B phase 1, 30 questions, there is no section wise time limit. That means we have to decide the time, we have to divide the time based on the total time available. And main exam, it is all descriptive, economic, political issues will be there. You don't have any quantitative aptitude section, so that's why written not applicable. NI, ACL, AO, 35 questions, 20 minutes, and 50 questions. There is no section wise time limit. But broadly, you can see that most of the exam, particularly if you look at your prelim exam, 35 questions to be solved in 20 minutes. That means, students, each question, if you divide, it is less than, I can say 35 seconds or less than 35 seconds. So what is important in your prelim exam? You have to be your speed and your accuracy. Both are important when you're writing your prelim exam. If you want to score, maximize your score in your prelim exam, particularly quant section, 35 questions, 20 minutes. Generally, time consuming questions will be there simply because quant generally involves calculations. So what happens is 35 questions, 20 minutes means if you divide, you'll get almost 35 seconds per question. So if you want to solve each question in 35 seconds or less than that, you need to be speed. You need to be fast. Your speed and accuracy should be like top class, right? Accuracy is like 10 questions you are attempting, 8 correct, 2 wrong, accepted. 10 questions you are attempting, 2 correct, 8 wrong, not accepted. So 80-90%. That means if you attempt 10 questions, definitely 8 or 9 questions should be correct. So accuracy and speed both are important. Now, coming to your main exam, you can see that maybe in RBI assistant, you have 40 questions, 30 minutes, less time than compared to number of questions. But if you look at IBPS and SBI clerk exams, 50 questions, 45 minutes, 35 questions, 45 minutes. More than, if you look at this PO exam, more than 1 minute per question. But what happens here is, in main exam, majority of the questions will be from data interpretation. And DI is of different types. Maybe 2-3 pie charts together, 2 table plus bar graph combination questions, or quant based DI. This is a trend these days. Time and work with the DI, time and distance with the DI, profit loss with DI, simple comparators with DI, mensuration with DI, probability with DI. So DI quant based. Similarly, data sufficiency based data interpretation. Data interpretation set, but questions will be of data sufficiency. So friends, what I'm trying to tell you here is DI, wherever there is DI, there are a lot of calculations involved, and 35 questions, 45 minutes is not at all sufficient. Because when you look at your main exam, majority of the questions, nowadays you take your regional rural banks, or you take your IBPS, SBA PO, or IBPS, SBA clerk, RBI assistant, maximum number of questions you have from your data interpretation. So main exam also, even though maybe some of the exams you can see more time is given, but overall, as DA is more, number of questions from DA are more, you will be, what you call, your time won't be sufficient for you. So you need to practice. Second, learn the concept. First, basic concept. Second, you have to practice. Third, you have to write more number of mock tests and segment tests. That will improve your speed as well as your accuracy. Let us look at topic wise breakup. Now, IBPS PO clerk prelim and main, quant and DA, right? So if you see here, prelim exam PO, you can expect 5 to 6 questions from quadratic comparisons. Clerk 0 to 6, that means in few slots exam is conducted in different days and different slots. Maybe in one odd slot there may not be questions from quadratic equation, but generally there will be 5 to 6 questions. In PO main there are no questions on quadratic comparison, but clerk main sometimes you are getting questions, about 5 questions. Simplification approximation, PO main you don't have any questions, but prelim you can expect some 5 to 6 questions. But if you look at clerk prelim, minimum 5 to maximum 15 questions. So very important area, and as well as scoring area in your clerk exam, as well as in your PO prelim exam. Main exam also you can expect questions, but 0 minimum. That means they're not asking questions. Very few instances you can find 5 questions in main exam, but means not generally asked in main examination. Series 5 to 6, 1 to 5, 5 to 6, and an average 5 questions both in prelim exam as well as in the main exam. Missing number series as well as your wrong number series. Now, students, one point is about preparation of series. We are not going to discuss in this session because the test area has been asked in quant, but generally this is a reasoning test area. We will discuss about series in your reasoning preparation tips. Maybe next week or a week after that, we will also have reasoning preparation tips and strategy. There we will discuss about series questions, how to attempt, how to prepare. Here we will discuss about quadratic equations, simple equations, simplifications, approximations, individual quant questions, DA. So individual quant questions, see 10 to 13, 5 to 12, 5 to 12, 10 to 15, important area. DI 15 to 18, 15 to 26 maximum, 5 to 10, clerk prelim. Generally clerk prelim has less number of questions from DA. Main exam, last 2-3 years, number of questions in clerk, it may be your IBPS clerk or SBA clerk are increasing, 10 to 22 questions. Minimum 10 to maximum 22. These two are very important areas for both your prelim exam as well as your main exam. Prelim and main. The things which are discussed, the first two, quadratic equations and simplification approximation, generally asked in your prelim exam, not asked in your main exam. Now, students, when I am saying that individual quant questions, it is like equations, ratio, time and work, time, speed and distance, geometry, mensuration, probability, from these topics, right? So averages, mixes, allocations from your individual questions from your quant topics. Then we have data sufficiency and data comparison. Generally, these two are your main exam areas, not asked in your prelim exam. Generally, data sufficiency and data comparison are main exam areas, not asked in prelim exam. But you can see here, I have written 0 to 5 in both PO and clerical, 0 to 5 both PO and clerical. See, generally 0. Sometimes, let us say exam is conducted in 12 slots, maybe in one of the slots you can expect some 5 questions. So that is why we keep on telling students, don't differentiate between prelim exam and main exam. Prepare for your main exam, automatically your prelim exam will be taken care of. Right? So data sufficiency, data comparison, generally asked in main exam, but they can be asked in prelim exam, but level of difficulty will not be of main exam level. Level of difficulty will be on par with your prelim exam. Similarly, quadratic equations here, I said main exam you are having 0 to 5, simplification approximation 0 to 5. That means in some of the main exams, there were questions from quadratic equation simplification approximations. Not a regular feature, but once in a while you can get questions. Right? So this is SBI PO clerk quant and DA. Quadratic comparison generally PO not asked in main exam, prelim exam. So clerk also can expect 5 questions. Simplifications approximations not asked in PO main. Clerk main also not asked. Very rarely gets 5 questions, but important for clerk 5 to 15, 5 to 6 in PO. Series I told you we'll discuss in reasoning section. Individual questions and data interpretations here. The weightage minimum 15 to maximum 22 in main exam, maximum 25 in your clerk exam. Similarly, 5 to 10 in prelim in clerk prelim, 15 to 16 in clerk PO prelim. So important test area. Data sufficiency, data comparison generally asked in main exam. Let us look at regional rural banks. Now that you should have an idea, right? What is important for prelim, what is important for main kind of thing. I'll summarize this. Right, students. See here, quadratic comparison, simplification approximations. Prelim, you have 10 questions, main not asked. Quadratic comparison also 0 to 6, 0 to 5, 2 to 5, 0 to 5. Right. Individual questions DI. Part of very important test area, part of both prelim as well as main. Right. So 10 to 14, 10 to 14, maximum 15 questions in clerk, 17, 10 to 17 DI, 20 to 22 in main exam, 10 to 15, 15 to 25 in main exam. Data sufficiency, data comparison generally asked in your main exam. So let us summarize these students. Now, what is important for both prelim as well as main? Very good. Series, simplification, what you called individual quant questions and data interpretations here. Series, data interpretation and arithmetic topics. Equations, ratio, percentage, profit loss, time and work, time and distance, geometry, mensuration. These are important for both prelim and main. Now, important for only prelim. Quadratic equations or comparison, simplification, approximation, generally asked in your prelim exam. What are important for main exam only? Can be asked in prelim, but generally asked in main exam. Data sufficiency, data comparison, and quant-based data interpretation. I told you what is quant-based data interpretation, right? So time and work based DI, time and distance based DI, profit loss based DI, simple compound interest based DI. All these we call it as quant-based data interpretation. Right, students? Let us look at strategy in tips. Now, tell me, you are attempting your quant section. These are the test areas. Consider you're writing a main exam, prelim plus main. Tell me the order. Start with what? You start with data interpretation, or you start with individual questions, or should I start with data sufficiency? Should I start with data comparison? Order of attempting the section is also very, very important. Section wise time limit, you can't do anything. Prelim, main, it is almost in most of the exams it is fixed. But within that particular section, what needs to be attempted? Yes, definitely it is there in our hands. So we need to, the basic idea is we need to start with those test areas, those topics, which will help us to score marks, which will boost our confidence level, and which will help us to maximize our score. Now, what are such topics? Start with simple topic. Don't start with data interpretation. Friends, if you start with data interpretation, believe me, you will end the paper with data interpretation. Don't start with data interpretation. Start with simple topics. Start with scoring areas. Start with those topics which will help you to improve your confidence as well as your score. What are those topics? Simplifications, approximations, very easy topic, right? Number series, easy to score. Then quadratic comparisons. In quadratic comparisons also, out of 5 questions, don't try to attempt all 5. See, keep this point in mind. Whether you're attempting DIE or approximations or series or quadratic comparison or individual questions, when you're attempting in your first round, pick up easy questions and solve them first. Don't miss out on easy questions. So out of those 5 questions, 1 or 2 questions will be difficult. Difficult in the sense the quadratic equation numbers may not be comfortable, numbers may not be convenient. Don't try to attempt those quadratic comparisons. Identify easy quadratic equation questions, find the roots, establish a relationship. So out of 5, 2 or 3 which are easy to attempt, pick up those questions, solve them in your first round. Yes, if time permits, I'm not saying leave those 2. If time permits, yes, definitely I'll come back and look at those 2 moderate questions or difficulty level questions. Moderate means calculation based questions, time consuming questions, numbers not convenient questions which are not comfortable to solve. So those kind of questions definitely we'll do that, but we'll come back and solve those kind of questions. Then we have individual quant questions, time and work, time and distance, percentages, profit loss. So we have to, out of this, see, there will be about 10 to 15, 10 to 15, that in your prelim exam and main exam. I'm not saying that attempt all 10 questions. Out of those 10 questions, what you need to do is, you need to, what you called, identify easy questions. You need to solve them, students, right? Data sufficiency and data comparison. It is very important for main exams, but don't neglect for prelims. That is why we keep on telling students, prepare for your main exam. Automatically, your prelim exam will be taken care of. Right, students? Then, DI. The last thing to attempt is your data interpretation. In your data interpretation, I have written something here. See, leave case rate. When I'm discussing DI, I'll discuss with you what are those case rate questions, why, what you need to do, all those things we'll discuss. But generally, what are case rates, how to attempt all those things, you have to leave case rate. That means if time permits, I'll come back and solve case rate questions. We'll discuss about this little later. So what is important is selection of sets is important. Let's say there are 3 sets in prelim exam. Or you take your main exam, you have 25 questions. Let's say there are 5 sets or 6 sets. Now don't try to attempt all 5 or 6 sets. Out of those 5, 6 sets, select 2 or 3 sets which you are comfortable with, which you are good at, which you practiced in your classroom, which you have practiced, that means in your online classroom coaching, or which you have practiced in your home. Try to identify those sets and select. Let's say you're good at tables, select tables. You're good at bar graph, select bar graph. You're good at pie charts, select pie charts. So selection of sets is very important. Second, selection of questions, that is also very, very important in your DA. Data interpretation, there are 5 questions. Believe me, friend, all 5 will not be of same difficulty level. These 5, all these 5 fingers same? No. So all 5 questions in a DA set will not be same. In the history of bank exam, they were never same, the difficulty, right? There will be easy questions, moderate questions, difficult questions. Out of those 5, identify 2 or 3 easy questions, solve them, get out of your data. Don't waste too much of time on your data interpretation set. So selection of sets, the sets which I'm most comfortable with, and within that set also, let us look at the questions, trying to select the questions which are easy. Then we have data from a set can look complicated, but what I'm trying to tell is, mostly if you look at your IBPS and SBA exams, the data given maybe in the form of a table or pie chart or bar graph, the data will be very, very frightening, right? Data will be very frightening. But when you look at the questions, most of the questions will be based on approximations. So friends, what I'm saying is data can be complicated. Don't look at the data and leave the set. Look at the data, look at the questions, then decide whether to attempt that particular set or not. That's what I'm trying to say. There are likely to be easy questions in the most difficult set, right? Let us look at preparation, quantitative aptitude. Kindly make a note of these, students. I want all of you, maybe you're a time student, non-time student, you're attending the free webinar. I want you to prepare these, start with these, learn these first, then you can start other things. Multiplication tables, not 1 table, 2 table, up to 20 tables, preferably 20 multiples. That is 21s or 22s or 23s are up to 20 into 20. 17 1, 17 2, 17 3, up to not 17 into 10, up to 17 into 20. Maybe your class teacher might have discussed, might have asked you, a math teacher, a class teacher might have asked you to learn multiplication tables. Maybe in your 4th standard, 3rd standard, 2nd standard, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Slowly, when we move to high school, the level of mathematics has increased. Teachers forgot, we have also forgot. Nobody, we have been told, you know, when you are studying 2nd standard, right? Learn multiplication tables. We are not done till now. Again, sir, we are preparing for bank exams. You are saying that learn multiplication tables. Yes, learning multiplication tables definitely will have benefits. Learning tables will improve your speed. Learning multiplication tables will give you that familiarity with the numbers. Learning multiplication tables will help you to solve questions quickly without using many steps while calculating, right? We'll discuss little later. We'll discuss maybe next 2-3 minutes. We'll discuss about multiplication tables. Then squares and cubes. Squares of first 25 natural numbers, and students, cubes of first 20 natural numbers. These are bare minimum requirement. You need to learn squares of first 25 natural numbers and cubes of 20 natural numbers. Second. Hold on, students, 1 second. There is a power cut here. 1 second. There's a heavy rain here, so there's a power cut. Give me 2 minutes. I'm just changing my power plug to the inverter. Yes, sorry. Squares of first 25 natural numbers and cubes of first 20 natural numbers. Then reciprocal values. These are fraction values. Up to 12, 1 by 2, 50%, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, up to 1 by 12. You have to learn these reciprocal values, students. We'll discuss all these, right? So complements of 100. What do you mean by complements of 100? How much we should add to make it to nearest 100, right? Let us say 94 complement is 6, 91 complement is 9, 84 complement is 16. How much we should add to make it to nearest 100, right? These are complements of 100. Anjali is asking, explain any one topic. Yes, we are doing. We are explain. I'll explain simplification approximations, quadratic equations, individual questions. Will take up few questions, Anjali. Let me finish up this, right? So these are prerequisites. Percentage calculations. We'll also see 1 or 2 percentage calculations. You should be good at percentage calculations, quadratic comparisons, finding roots, and it should be thorough with basic concepts of various topics of quantitative aptitude. These topics will also help you in your data sufficiency as well as in your data comparison. Right. Let us look at the benefits of learning multiplication tables. Now we are entering into subject. Actually, let's focus on this. Product of two numbers 144. Sum of two numbers 25. So I'm asking you, what's up? Is there any advantage of learning multiplication tables? Right. That is the point I'm going to discuss now. Complement of 100 not able to understand. Kuch nahi hai. How much I should add to make it to nearest 100? If I take 84, let's say take 92. How much I should add to make it to 100? 92 plus 8. If I say 80, if I want to make it to 100, how much I should add? 80 plus 20, 100. 64. 64. What is the complement? How much I should add? 64 plus another 36 will give me 72. Kitna add karna padega? 72 plus 28 is 100. And that is complements. Right, Tanuja? Hope this is clear. All right. Let us take up these questions. Product of two numbers 144. Sum of the two numbers is 25. Right. Can you tell me? Can you guess those two numbers? Product 144. Sum, if I add, it should be 25. Right. Very good. 16 and 9. Right. 16 into 9. 144. What is 16 plus 9? 25. Right? Just I'm telling you applications of multiplication tables. Right? I'll ask you one more question. Product of two numbers is 126. Sum of those two numbers is 25. See here, I'm not changing my sum here, right? My sum is 25 only. But I'm changing my product. Product is 126. Can you guess the number? Can you guess those numbers? First, 18 and 7. 18 plus 7, 25. 18 into 7, 126. Right. I'll ask you one more question. I'll not change my sums here. I put my sum as 25. Product 136. Sum 25. Product 136. Fast students. 17 and 8. Very good. 17 into 8 is 136. 17 plus 8 is equal to 25. Right. My last question, easy one. Same sum 25. Product 156. Easy students. Try to answer this. Easy. Easy. Very good. 12 and 13. Napit is answering questions. Very good, Napit. Right, 12 and 13. 12 plus 13 is 25. 12 into 13 is 156. See, this is the advantage of learning multiplication tables. You will get the familiarity with the numbers. Right? Now, I'll take you one more up. See, the people who still have doubt, like, sir, is multiplication tables, padna hai kya? Is it necessary? Can I do without multiplication tables? If you learn, yes, there are advantages. Now, try to guess C value. Generally, you come across this, time and distance, particularly boards and streams. Right? Ankush is saying 12 and 13. Good, Ankush, correct? Right. So this is an equation. Can you find C value, students? 91. Generally, these are boards and streams questions. Whenever it is boards and streams questions, you will come across equations, right? So 91 by 10 plus C, 91 by 10 plus C plus 91 by 10 minus C is equal to 20. Find C value without solving. Don't solve. Agar solve kore to everybody will be able to answer this question. Can you guess C value without solving by looking at the equation? See, if you solve this, take 91 common, 10 plus C into 10 minus C LCM, here 10 minus C, 10 plus C, CC cancel. I'll get a quadratic equation, solve them, finding the roots. 9. Without solving, can you get C value? See here, look at the numbers, students. What are my numbers here? 91. If I add these two, we should get 20. Point is, which multiplication table you will come across 91? Think, which multiplication table you come across 91? 13th multiplication table. Very good. 13 into 7. 13 into 7 is 91. How much is 13 plus 7? 20. So if I add, I should get 25. Multiply, I should get 91. So 13 7s are 91. 13 plus 7 is 20. So friends, I am saying that my C value is 3. If C value is 3, 91 by 13, this will be 7. And if C value is 3, 10 minus 3 is 7, 91 by 7 is 13. 7 plus 13, it is equal to 20. Right? So what is C value? 3. I'll ask you one more question. Try this. 135 by 12 plus C plus 135 by 12 minus C is equal to 24. C value, students. C value. C value. Which multiplication table you come across 135? Add these two, we should get 24. Right, very good. Very good. One of our friends saying 135, 15 9s are 135. Very good. And 15 plus 9 is 24. Right? So friends, one should be 15, the other value should be 9. So I'm saying that my C value should be 3. 12 plus 3, 15. 135 by 15, it is 9. 12 minus 3, 9. 135 by 9 is 15. 15 plus 9 is equal to 24. So my C value is 3. So I'm saying that definitely there are advantages of learning multiplication tables. Definitely there are benefits. So friends, please request from our side, learn multiplication table. Learn is like, I will not ask you how, tell me 12 table, 13 table, 14 table. I say questions karna padega. When you see product and sum, you should be able to recollect all the facts. Right. Let us spend some time on reciprocal value. So you need to know all these reciprocal values. You will see the advantage of this. 1 by 2 is 50%. 1 by 2 is 0.5. Any fraction are reciprocal. How will you convert into percentage? You have to multiply by 100. So 1 by 2 into 100 is 50%. So into 100 into 100 common. So 1 by 3, 33.33%, or we can say 33, 1 by 3%. 1 by 4, 25%. 1 by 5, 20%. 1 by 6, 16.66%. 1 by 7, 14.28%, or 14 2 by 7%. 1 by 8, 12.5% or 12.5%. 1 by 9, 11.11% or 11, 1 by 9%. Right, 1 by 10, 10%, 1 by 11, 9.09% or 9, 1 by 11%, 1 by 12, 8.33 or 8, 1 by 3. Sir, are these 12 sufficient? No. No. You have to by heart these 12 along with their multiples. For example, 1 by 7. You have to write down 2 by 7, 3 by 7, 4 by 7, 5 by 7, 6 by 7. 1 by 7, 2 by 7, 3 by 7, 4 by 7, 5 by 7, 6 by 7. One less than denominator, you have to by heart. 1 by 9, 2 by 9, 3 by 9, 4 by 9 up to 8 by 9. 1 by 12, 2 by 12, 3 by 12, 4 by 12 up to 11 by 12. So not only these 12 values, you have to by heart their multiples also. Then only you could save some time in the examination. So these are reciprocal values. Along with their multiples, you have to by heart. Now, I'll tell you one point here. So 1 by 9, it is easy to remember. 11.11%. 2 by 9. From here, everything will be in multiples of 11. If you know 11 table, that is sufficient. 2 into 11, no need to add everything. This you can remember. 22.22. So on. Last number 8 by 9. 8 into 11, 88. 11 into 8. Repeat the same number. 0.88%. Now students, if I take 1 by 11, 1 by 11 is how much? 9.09%, right? From here, everything will be in multiples of 9. If I ask you 2 by 11, you should know 9 table. 2 into 9, 18. Repeat the same number, 0.8%. 3 by 9, 3 into 9, 27.27%. 4 by 9, 4 into 9, 36.36. That means if you see here, denominator is 9, answer will be 11 multiples. Denominator is 11, answer should be 9 multiples. If it is 9, answer should be 11 multiples. If it is 11, answer should be 9 multiples. Now I'll ask you one question. How much is 7 by 11? Not 77.77. 7 by 11. 11 means answer should be 9 multiples. 7 into 9, 63.63. How much is 6 by 9? 6 by 9. 9 means answer should be 11 multiples. 6 into 11, 66.66%. Right? So similarly, there is the logic for 1 by 7 and other things also. So maybe when we are discussing in detail, we'll discuss about these reciprocal values. Let us look at percentage calculation. I will give you a number, 5,000. Answer this question, students. How much is 10% of 5,000? 10% of any number, simple. Start from right hand side, put a point after one digit, 500. 1%, put a point after two digits from right side, 50. 0.1%, put a point after three digits, 5. Here, 10% is 500, 1% is 50, 0.1% is 5. You should know this basic minimum calculations, right? So 10% is 10 by 100. So 10 by 100 is nothing but 1 by 10. So 1 0 in the denominator. So we'll put a point after one digit. 1% is 1 by 100. 2 zeros in the denominator. So we'll put a point after two digits, right? 0.1%, right? It is nothing but 1 by 1000. 3 zeros in the denominator. So we will put a point after three digits. So 10% of any number, you have to put a point after one digit. 1% you have to put a point after two digits from right side, 0.1% after three digits. I'll ask one more question. 5%. How will you find out 5%? 5% is, sir, 5 into 1%. How much is 1%? 50. So 5 into 50, 250. 5% is 5 into 1%. 1% multiplied by 5 times. 50 into 5, 250. Or 5% is nothing but, I can say other way, half of 10%. 10% is 500, half of 500 is 250. If I want 2.5%, again it is half of 5%. 250 half is 120. 10%, if I want 20%, how will you find a 20%? 2 into 10%. 30%, 3 into 10%. 40%, 4 into 10%. If I want 5%, half of 10%, 2.5%, half of 5%. 10% 913, find out 40%. I'll give you 30 seconds. 10% 913, find out 40%, students. Find out 40%. 10% 913, find 40%. Answers, please. Right. 40% can be written as 4 into 10%. How much is 10%? 913. So 4 into 913. 365. Right? 4 into 913. You have to multiply 900 into 4, 3600. 13 into 4, 50. 3652. 3652. Can I solve like this? Friends, you know 10 percentage, right? 10% double. If you double 10%, you'll get 20%. Right? Again, double 20%, you'll get 40%. 10 double 20, 20 double 40. Right? So, friends, how much is 10%? 913. 913 ka double 10 double 20, 20 double 40. We can also do like this, right? 10 double 20, 20 double 40. 10% 913. 20% double 900 double 1800, 13 double 26, right? So I'm saying that 913 is double kya hoga? 900 double 1800, 13 double 26. 40% again double this. 1800 double 3600, 26 double 50. I can also solve like this. 913 double 1800, 900 double 1800, 13 double 26, 1826, 1826 double 36 50. Right. Find 37.5% of 960. Find 37.5% of 960. How will we do this, students? How much is 10% of 960? 96, right? 10% 96. How much is 5%? I told you 5% is half of 10%. 96 half 48. How much is 2.5%? Again, it is half of 5%, right? 24. Right, students? So 37.5 percentage, 37.5 percentage can be written as 30%. 10% 96, 30% 3 times. 93s are 270, 6 3s are 18, 288. 30 plus 5%. 5% 48 plus 2.5% I'll add 24. So if you add these, 37.5 percentage is 360. Or very good. Kavita saying 360. Very good, Kavita. 360 is correct answer. Right? 37.5 percentage is 360. Or the other way of looking at it, you can try this for yourself. 40% minus 2.5%. I say because orally we can try. 10% 96. 20%, 40%, how will you get 4 into 96? 360 plus 24, 384. Or 96 double 192, 192 double 384. From this subtract 24, 2.5%. I'll get 360. Or look at the advantage of what we call learning your reciprocal values. 37.5 percentage. If you look at your reciprocal values, it is equal to 3 by 8. 1 by 8, 12.5%. 2 by 8, 25%. 2 by 8 is 1 by 4. 3 by 8 is equal to 37.5%. I can solve it as 30 plus 5 plus 2.5 or 40 minus 2.5. Or if I have learned those reciprocal values, I can say, sir, 37.5% is 3 by 8. What happens if I notice 3 by 8? I'll get the answer in less than 10 seconds. Here, I can write it as 3 by 8 of 960. 8 goes 120 times 120 into 3 is 360. I can answer in flat 10 seconds or even less than. So learning reciprocal values, learning multiplication tables will definitely help you in your competitive exams. Try this, students. 62.5% of 880. I'll give you 30 seconds. 62.5% of 880. 62.5% of 880. Others also can try. Students, those who are listening, please try. 62.5% of 880. Very good. Dipti has answered 550. Very good, Dipti. Good job. Good job. Right, students? See here, 62.5 percentage. I'll let it as 50%. 50%. The given number will be always 100%. 100% 880. 50% 440. Half of that. 100% 880. 50% is half of that 440. Plus, I'm adding 10%. What is 10? How much is 10%? 88. Plus 2.5%. 10% 88. 5% 44. Half of that. 2.5 percentage is 22. Again, half of that. This is 5%. This is 2.5%. Or 2.5 percentage is nothing but 2.5 percentage is nothing but 1/4 of 10%. 2.5 percentage is nothing but 1/4. So 1/4 of 88 is 22. And these students will get 550. Or we can also do like this. 60% plus 2.5%. You know 10%. Calculate 60%. at 2.5%. The other way of looking at it is 62.5% is equal to which reciprocal? Very good, 5 by 8. If you know it is 5 by 8, my life will become very comfortable. I can answer in flat 10 seconds, right? 8 goes 110 times, 110 into 5, 5. So students, there is the advantage of learning multiplication tables as well as your reciprocal values. Let us spend some time on calculation part. Now, I'll give you 30 seconds of time. Please don't use calculator. No. I don't know because I'm sitting here at a remote location. I don't know whether you're using calculator or not, but don't use calculator. Try this calculation. 616 is what percentage of 2685 approximately? Vidya has also answered this question 550. Kanmani has also answered this question. Good. Try this question. 616 is what percentage of 2685? I don't want exact value. I don't want in points. Make an approximation and tell me. First, don't use calculator, please. 616 is what percentage of 2685? Anything that follows off should be in the denominator, students. 16,540. Kavita, it is not. I want percentage. It forms what percentage, not value. Just check out. So how will you write this? 616 by 2685 into 100. So Vidya said 430. It's not number, students. It is percentage. Please check out. It is percentage, not number. 16.23. Tanuja saying. Let's check out, Tanuja. Let's check out. That 616 is what percentage of 2685? 616 by 2685 into 100. 616 by 2685, 2685 into 100. Right. So in total, this is my given base. The given base is always 100%. In this base, we need to find out 616 forms what part, what percentage, right? What is 10% of the given base? 268.5, right? 268.5. 22%. Need to close. Good. Anybody else have answered? 22%. Good. Need to close. 10%. 268.5. 1%. I'll put a point here. 26.85. I have to put a point after 2 digits. Approximately we will say 27. Now, student, just here. How much is 10%? 260 plus. I'll say. Right. Now, I'll take 20%. 20% is 530. You can ask me, sir, why did you take 20? Because here 10%, 260 plus. Don't get into 268 point something. 260 plus. How much is 20%? Don't find out exact value. 520 plus. Orally we can say. How much is 30%? 30% is 3 times, right? 780 plus. That means I'll get more than 780. What is the value we need? The value we need 22.5 is Ankush saying. So approximately you have to find 23. Kavita, very good, 23%. Vidya also saying 23. Very good. 23 approximately. Ankush again saying 22.5. Okay. 23 approximately, right? 10% 260 plus, 20% 520 plus, 30% 780 plus. We need only 616, right? So I'm taking 20%, 537. Now, students, we need 616. We got 537, right? Subtract. We need another 79. Approximately, we need another 79, right? How much is 1%? 27. Find out 3%. We need 79 more to be added. 3% is 27, 3 are 81. So approximately I can say my answer is 23%. I can say my answer is 23%. Very good. Good students. The rest of the students should also participate, please. Right. Now, one more approach is here. I can say this fraction 600 by 2685 is approximately 1 by 4, students. I'm not saying exactly 1 by 4. I'm saying approximately 1 by 4. Agreed, not agreed? 600 4s are 2400. I have 2600 here. So approximately 1 by 4. 1 by 4 is how much percent? 25%. Right? So 1 by 4 of 2685. Right? 4 6 are 24, 4 7 are 28, 4 1s are 4. Don't get into point. 671. We got 671 for 25%. We need only 616. So how much extra we have got? If I subtract, we got 55 extra. So we need 616 means my answer should be less than 671. That means my answer should be less than 25%. Right? So how much extra we got? We got 671. We need only 616. We got 55 extra. So from this I need to subtract 55. Right? How much is 1%? 1% we know it is 27. How much is 2%? 2% should be 54. I have to subtract 55. I am subtracting 54. Chalega. 25 minus 2. I can say approximately 23%. Right? We look at another approach. Right? How much is 20%? 10% we know. 20% we have calculated, right? 20% is 537. Right? Another approach I am discussing this. And friends, 30%. How much is 30%? Not 30%. Let us take 25. We have done 25, right? 25%. 25% is 671. What's the value we need? The value we need is 616. It is between 537 and 671. That means we can say my answer should be between 20% and 25%. Stop there. Look at the options. If there is only one option between 20 and 25, we can easily answer that question, students. If there is only one option between 20 and 25, that should be your answer. Right? So 20% 537, 25% 671. My answer should be between 20 and 25%. So I can say that there is only one option between 20 and 25. That should be your answer. Or if you can ask me, sir, what happens if there are two options between 20 and 25? What should I do? I'll tell you. Between 20 and 25, 20% and 25%. Do you know any standard reciprocal? Very good. 22.22%. 22.22% is between 20 and 25 because I know answer is between these two. 2 by 9 of 2685. If I simplify this, I'll get 596. We need 616. We got 596. We need another 20. Right? If we add another 20, I'll get 616. How much is my 1%, students? 1% is 27. How much we should add? Another 20. That means we need to add less than 1%. If I add 1% also, what is the answer? I'm going to get 23 point. If I add 1%, we'll get 23.22. I need only 20, right? So I have to add less than 1%. So approximately I can say 23%. If you remember reciprocal values, this is an advantage. So reciprocal values is also similar to your multiplication tables. I will not ask you 22.22%, what is the fraction, or 2 by 9 is how much percent. If I give you a range, you should be able to answer the question. Between 40%, what are the reciprocal values? Between 40 and 45, what are all the reciprocal values you know? Between 60 and 70, tell me all the standard reciprocals you know. That is how you should learn, students. Right. Let us take up squares of natural numbers. Right, students? So finding squares of natural numbers. I told you to learn up to 1 square to 25 square, right? You write down 1 square to 25 square, you have to buy out that. If you know 1 to 25, maybe up to 125, 26 to 125, you can orally calculate without use of any pen or paper or calculator. Nothing else, nothing is required. You can orally answer maybe. So if you're good at calculations, you can answer in less than 5 seconds, right? So 1 square, 1, 2 square, 4, 3 square, 9, 4 square, 16, 5 square 25, 6 square 36, 7 square 49, 8 square 64, 9 square 81, 10 square 100, 11 square 121, so on. You write down up to 25 squares. Right, all of you know 25 squares. Let us find out the logic for 26 to 75. What we do is, we will take our base as 50 square. How much is 50 square, students? 50 square is equal to 25. This is our base. We will compare with 50. Right? Listen carefully. 49 square. 49 is how much less than 50? Compare with 50. It is 1 less than 50. 49 is 1 less than 50. So this is my base 2500. 25 minus 1, 2400. It is 1 less, so plus 1 square. 2400 plus 1 square is 2401. Right? 48 square. 48 square is how much less than 48? If you compare with 50, 2 less. 25 is my base, right? 25 minus 2, 2300. It is, sorry, it is 2 less, right? My mistake. It is 2 square. Typing mistake, student. It is 2304. 47 square. 47 is 3 less than 50. Right? 25 minus 3, 2200. Plus 3 less, so 3 square I am adding, 2209. Here it should be 2 square, not 3 square. In second, 48 is 2 less. 25 minus 2, 2300 plus 2 square, 4, 2304. And I'll ask you one more question. 46 square. Orally you try. 46, 4 less than 50. 25 minus 4, 2100 plus 4 square, 16, 2116. Try 41 square. Very good. Kavita saying 2116. 41 square. 41 is how much less than 50? 9 less than 50. 25 minus 9, 1600 plus 9 square, 81. So it should be 1681. Very good. 1681. Not only Kavita, others should also answer. 31 square. Oh, it is there on the screen. Fine. 31 square. 31 square is how much less than 50? 19 less than 50. 25 minus 19, 600 plus 19 square is 361. 1961. Okay, I'll ask one more question. 37 square. First. 37 square. First. 37 is how much less than 50? 13 less than 50. 25 minus 13, 1200 plus 13 square, 169. 1369. 1369. Vidya is answering 1369. Ankush, that's 1641. 1369. Kavita, correct. Okay, let me take up my last number. What is my last number? 26 square. Without looking at the screen, you answer this 26 square, students. 26 is how much less than 50? 24 less than 50, right? 25 minus 24 is 100 plus 24 square is 576. 100 plus 576 is 676. Correct. Deepti saying 676. Very good. Deepti 676. Vidya saying 676. Kavita saying very good. You understood the logic now? Similarly, if I take a 51 square, 51 is how much more than 50? One more. Till now it is one less, right? 49 is one less. 51 is one more. So we will, one more means we will add 25 plus 1, 2600. One more, we'll add 1 square, 2601. Anku saying 676, good, right? 52 square, it is 2 more, right? So 25 plus 2, 2700 plus 2 square, 4, 2704. You tell me 53 square, 3 more. 25 plus 3, 2800 plus 3 square, 2809. Okay, let me move forward. I'll ask you 61 square. Answer this, students. 61 square. First. 61 is how much more? Very good. 11 more. 25 plus 11, 3600 plus 11 square, 121. 3721. Very good. 3721. Okay. Shall I ask you one more question? Easy one I'll ask. 57 square. Jaldi, jaldi, jaldi. 57 square. Fast. 3721. Kavita answered. Very good. 57 square. Yeah, easy one. Are both easy. 25, 57 is 7 more, right? 7 more than 50. 3249. Vidya correct. Vidya correct. Kavita 3249 correct. Right. So 57 square it is 7 more. 25 plus 7. 3200 plus 7 square 49. 3249. Vishaka. Vaishaka or Vishaka. Right. Good. 3249. Good show, students. Right. Now 61 square. We have answered this. Let me take my last number 75 square. 75 square, students. Tanuja also answered 3249. Very good. 75 square, students. 75 square. 75 is how much more than 50? 25. 25 more. Very good. 5625. 25 more. 25 plus 25, 5000. Kavita, good. 25 plus 25, 5000 plus 25 square, 625. 5625. 5625. Vaishaka, 5625. Very good. Now, I'll tell you one more point here. Just observe, students. 75 square, any number ending with 5, we'll do like this. There's a problem with the mouse, yeah. Right. 1 second. 75 square. So 5 square will be 25. Right. Increase 7 by 1. Increase it by 1. Unit digit, 10 digit. 7 is here. Increase by 1, it will be 8. What is 7 into 8? 56, 25. Ankush. Very good. Right. If I ask you 45 square. Last में क्या रहेगा? 5 square 25 रहेगा. Right. Increase 4 by 1. It will become 5. So 4 into 5. 20, 25. Any number ending with 5. Okay. I'll ask you one go. 85 square. Kanmani saying 20, 25. Right. 85 square. First. 5 square will be 25. 8. Increase by 1. 9. 18 to 9. 72. 25. Right. 65 square. Vidya is saying 72. 65 square. 72, 25. Correct, Vidya. Kavita 72, 25. Correct. 65 square. 5 square 25. 6 increase by 1. 7. 60 to 7. 42, 25. Very good, Vidya. Very good. Kanmani 42, 25. Right. I'll ask you one more number. 115 square. 115 square. 115 square. 5 square will be 25. Increase 11 by 1, we'll get 12. 11 into 12, if you know multiplication table, 11 into 12 is 132. 13225. Very good. 13225. 125 square. No, not 13225. Correct, Tanuja. 125 square. 5 square will be 25. So 12 is left out, right? 12 increased by 1, it will be 13. 12 into 13, 156. 15625. Very good, Vidya. 15625. Right. Let us move forward, students. 18, 20, 15, 6, 20. Right. Right. Let us find out 76 to 125 squares. And one more point I forgot. Just here, students. You are starting with 1 square, 2 square, 3 square. You are ending at 24 square. 1 square, 2 square, 3 square. You are ending at 25 square. Right? If you know 25 square, that is more than sufficient. 76 to 125. I don't want to tell you a different logic and confuse you. We'll put our logic same, but we'll take the base as 100. We'll compare with 100. 26 to 75, we're comparing with 50. More or less, we are adding or subtracting from 2500. Here we'll compare with 100. 99 square. Compare with 100. 99 is how much less than 100? 1 less than 100. So subtract this 1 from 99. 99 minus 1, 9800 plus 1 square. 1 less, no? So 1 square, 9801. Got the point? See, the base for 26 to 75 is 2500. I'll compare with 50. More or less, I'm subtract or add from 2500. Here, the number itself is the base. I'll compare with 100. How much less, how much more? I'll subtract from the same number. 99, 1 less than 100. So 99 minus 1, 9800 plus 1 square. 98 square. 98 square is 2 less than 100. 98 minus 2, 9600 plus 2 square, 9604. 97 square. 3 less, 97 minus 3, 9400 plus 3 square, 9409. 81 square. How much less? 19 less. 81 minus 19, 6200 plus 19 square, 361. 6561. Okay. I'll ask you one question. Try this. 87 square. 87 square. Fast. 87 square. How much less than 100? 13 less than 100. 87 minus 13. 7400. Very good, Vidya. 7569. 7400 plus 13 square, 169. 7569. Good. See, no need to by heart everything here. You can remember like this. 76 square. 76 is 24 less than 100. 76 minus 24 is 5200 plus 24 square, 576. 5776. Similarly, the logic is for 101 square. 101, 1 more than 100, right? So it is 1 more than 100. 101 plus 1 is 10200 plus 1 square, 10201. 102 square. Correct? 7569. 2 more. 102 plus 2, 10400 plus 2 square. 103 square. 3 more than 100. 103 plus 3, 10600 plus 3 square. 111 square. 11 more. 111 plus 11, 12200 plus 11 square. 12321. My last number, 125 square. I told you the shortcut also. 5 square 25. Increase 12 by 1, it will be 13. 12 into 13, 15625. Or it is 25 more. 125 plus 25 is 150 plus 25 square, 625. 15625. 15625. Right, students? Now, just make a note of this number. I want to share some important point here. How much is 11 square? If you observe, 11 square is 121. How much is 111 square? It's only special property of these numbers. 111 square. But the answer, students, 12321, right? We are saying 121, right? 12321. Any observation, students? In 11, there are how many ones? There are 2 ones. So I'm starting with 1. I'll write up to 2. 1, 2. Reverse this. 111 square. How many now? How many ones are there? 3 ones. So I'll start from 1. I'll write up to 3. 1, 2, 3. I'll reverse this. 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Now answer this. 1, 1, 1, 1 square. How many ones? 4 ones. So what is the answer? Answer 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll reverse it again. 3, 2, 1. Very good. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 square. 5 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Good, Vidya Karmani. Rest. These are about square, students. Let us see how to guess square roots. It won't take much of your time. Just observe this. Now, we have 10 digits, students. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 0 square, 0. 1 square, I am writing the last digit of the square. 1 square, 1, 2 square, 4, 3 square, 9, 4 square, 16. Last digit is 6, 5 square, 25. Last digit is 5. 7 square, 6 square, 36. Last digit is 6. 7 square, 49. Last digit is 9. 8 square, 64. Last digit is 4. 9 square, 81. Last digit is 1. I am writing the last digit of the square. The squares will follow one unique pattern. If you observe, the last digit of 1 square and 9 square is same. Similarly, the last digit of 2 square and 8 square is same. Last digit of 3 square, 7 square is same. Last digit of 4 square and 6 square is same. Last digit of 5 square will be always 5 and 0 square will be always 0. They are following one particular pattern, right? I'm taking the logic. Then look at these square: 10 square, 100, 20 square, 400, 30 square, 900, 600, up to 100 square, 10,000, right? Let us guess square roots. It's a perfect square. How to guess? If it is not a perfect square, how to guess? Let us look at these two things. 1521 is a perfect square, right? Right. 1521 is a perfect square. Let us guess the square root of this 1521. 1521. What's the square root? Right. Now, students, if you observe here, 1521. Let us take this number 1521. It lies between which two squares? 1521 lies between which two values? 900 and 1600. That means it lies between 30 square. It lies between, what happened? It lies between 30 square to 40 square. What the value 1521 lies between 30 square and 40 square. We want square root of 1521. Deepti, correct answer, Deepti. Deepti, correct answer. 39 is the correct answer. Very good, Deepti. Right. So 1521 lies between 30 square and 40 square. Square root of 1521. So root, it lies between root of this and root of this. Root of 30 square and root of 40 square. That means the square root will lie between 30 to 40. Answer is neither 30 nor 40 because 30 square is 900, 40 square is 1600. We want 1521, right? Answer lies between 30 and 40. Now look at this square ending with what? 1. Square of a number ending with 1. That means the last digit of the number should be either 1 or 9. Because the square of the number is ending with 1. The last digit, the number should end with 1 or 9. So it should be between 30 and 40. My answer should be either 31 or 39. Now 1521, is it close to 900 or close to 1600? Close to 1600. So my answer should be close to 40. Close to 40 means 39. You want, you can cross check. How much is 39 square? Right. You have to compare with 50. 11 less than 50. 25 minus 11, 1400 plus 11 square 121. So it is 1521. This is matching. Right. C. 1521 bit lies between 30 square and 40 square. Root of 1521 lies between 30 and 40. So answer should be between 30 and 40. What is my last digit in 1521? 1. So last digit in the square is 1 means the last digit of the number should be either 1 or 9. So my answer should be either 31 or 39. So answer should be close to 40. 1521 is close to 1600. So it should be close to 40. So my answer is 39. What if the given number is not a perfect square? Let's say 1370. 1370 is not a perfect square, right? It's a perfect square. If there is a 0, there should be 2 zeros. Perfect cube means there should be 3 zeros. Right? Perfect square, there should be 2 zeros, but remaining part should be a perfect square. 137 is not a perfect square. There is only 1 0. It is not a perfect square, right? So how to guess? 1370. Anybody? Any guesses? 1370 lies between 900 and 1600. So that lies between 30 square and 40 square. Square root lies between 30 to 40. Right? It is not a perfect square, so you cannot narrow it down to two values here. So here, you know the middle value, right? 35 square. How much is 35 square? 5 square will be always 25. Right? Increase 3 by 1, it will become 4. It will be 3 into 4, 1225. I want 1370. So it lies between 35 to 40. Square root lies between 35 to 40. Try 36 square. See, it is not a perfect square. You cannot guess, right? You have to find out 36 square. 36 is how much less than 50? 14 less than 50. Right, students? So 25 minus 14, 1100 plus 14 square is 196. It is 1296. No, I want 1370. So 36 is not my answer. Try 37 square. Orally you answer this. 37 square is 13 less, right? 25 minus 13, 1200. 13 square is 169. 1200 plus 169, it is 1369. I want 1370. So closest option is 37. What is the square root here? 37. Right? It's not a perfect square. We'll do like this. How to guess a perfect? How to guess cube root, students? Let us look at this. I'm taking 0 to 9 digits. I'm writing the large digit of the cube. 0 cube 0, 1 cube 1, 2 cube 8, 3 cube 27. Large digit is 7, 4 cube 64. Large digit 4, 5 cube 125. Large digit 5, 6 cube 216. Large digit 6, 7 cube 343. Large digit is 3, 8 cube 512. Large digit is 2, 9 cube 729. Large digit is 9. Students. Alright. Now, unlike square, they will not follow any particular pattern. You can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For all 10 digits, we have last 10 digits in the cube also, large digit is 0 to 9. They are not following any particular pattern like your squares. Okay, anyways, we'll guess the square root 15625. What you need to do is from right hand side, 3 digits on one part, the remaining number on my left hand side. 3 digits should be on your right hand side, the remaining part of the number should be on your left hand side. 625. What's the last digit in these 3 digits? 5. Cube ending with 5 means the large digit of the number should be 5. Very good. Now look at your left part, 15. 15 lies between 2 cube, which 2 cubes? Because I'm writing cube root, right? 2 cube and 3 cube. 2 cube 8, 3 cube 27, we want 15. It lies between 2 cube and 3 cube, take the smaller number, 25. So what's the cube root? 25. 25 cube, if you want, you can check. 25 cube is 15625. So if you want to find a cube root, perfect cube, what you need to do is divide 3 digits onto the right side, remaining number onto the left side. Okay, I'll ask you one small number, 39304. You try this. 39304. So I'll divide here. Right, 4 ending with 4 means the large digit should be 4. This lies between 3 cube and 4 cube, right? 3 cube 27, 4 cube 64. I want 39. So take the smaller side. 34. If you want, you can try. 34 cube is 39304. Perfect cubes, it will work perfectly fine. If it's not a perfect cube, you can't guess. You can't guess like this, right? It's a perfect cube, then only you can guess. Right, students. Let us look at simplifications and approximations. What you need to do is in simplification and approximation, you have to learn the speed math techniques. I have taken up only few speed math techniques, but you have to learn all these speed math techniques, multiplication tables, reciprocal values, percentage calculations, and most importantly, you cannot afford to lose marks in this topic because in an easy topic and scoring area, practice more number of questions. Try to practice so that you will improve your speed as well as accuracy. Right, students? Let us take up 1 or 2 simplification questions. Let us try this. 13574 divided by 11 into 0.25. Try this, students. Try to answer this question. Try to answer this question. See, by answering these simplification questions, you have to keep this order in mind. Board mass. What is board mass rule? First, you have to solve the questions inside brackets. Then off symbol. Off is nothing but multiplication symbol. Then division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. Kavita, Deepti, Ankush, Vaishali, those who answered questions earlier, please answer these questions. What is the answer? 13574 divided by 11 into. So what are the symbols here? Division, multiplication. What comes first? Division. So 13574. 13574. First I have to do division. 11. 11 ones are 11. 25. 11 twos are 22. 37. 11 threes are 33. 11 fours are 44. Into 0.25. 0.25 is how much, students? 1 by 4. Very good. 4 threes are 12. 0. 4 eights are 32. Point you have to put. Because simplification, you have to find out the exact. So 308.5. Second option. Fine. I'll give an easy question. Try this. 51.24 plus 37.18 minus 16.87. First, you have to do addition, right? You have to do 2-digit addition, students. 24 plus 18, 42. 51 plus 37, 88. Minus 88.42 minus 16.87. We will not do subtraction, we will do addition only. So 87 plus how much is 42? 55. It is not 42, it is 142 because complement is 13 and another 42, 55. 17 plus how much is 88, right? 71. So answer is 71.5. 55. Where is 71.55? It's not there. None of this. None of this. Right? Let us try this question. This is not simplification, this is approximation, students. Try this question. Try to answer, students. 152.957 plus 16 divided by 16.96 into 1.9x. Here, it's an approximation. You are not expected to calculate this will be given in the question. Then it is an approximation question. Otherwise, it is not approximation question. Approximation question, it will be saying that, see, in simplification, you have to find out, that's why we have done 308.5 exact value. You will not say approximately, right? But this is an approximation question. You need not take exact value and solve. You can approximate it. Try this. 152.957 can be taken as 153. Right? Nobody is answering. Divided by 16.96 is 17 into 1.98 is approximately 2. 16.96 is 17. 9s are 153. 9 into 2, my answer is 18. Where is 18 here? Second option. Approximately. So it is 153. 16.96 is 17 into 2. Right? So it is 18. Very good. Kavita has answered. Okay. 17.8 up. No. Why 17.8? Don't do this. No. Someone is saying 17. Don't do this. Right? We can say it is 18 because options won't be so close in approximation. Right? Let me take one more example. Try this. Try this, students. Let's see who will answer. You want options, Kavita? Okay. I'll give you options. Wait. Try this. Deepthi has answered, Vidya has answered, Kavita, Karmani. Very good students. Right. Try this. Fast. Fast, students. Right? After giving options, you are taking so much of time. Right. How will we do this? You see, what I do is, I'll take this as 12040. I'll take this as 12,000. Remember, I am doing an approximation. It is a simplification question. Yes, you can't do anything. Options will be closed. You have to take an exact value. It's an approximation. You need not calculate the exact value. 152%, I'll take it as 150%. Similarly, 249%, I'll take it as 250%. 4201, I'll take it as 4200. Right? 100% 12,000. 50% is half of the 6,000. So 18,000 plus 250%. The given number is always 100%. 4,200. Right? 4,200. 20%. 200%. 8,400. 50%. 100% 4,200. 50% 2,100. So if I add 10,500. 18,000 plus 10,500 will be 28,500. It is my option 3. You got the point? Option 3. Very good. Deepthi, correct. Kavita, correct. Vidya, correct. Correct. Good show. Right? So 28. Say I'm saying 150%, 12,000 plus 50%, 6,000, 18,000. 250%, 200%. The number is always 100%, 4,200. Double it, 8,400. 50% is half, 2,100. So 28,500. Okay. Let me try this question. Then we will wind up. I will go to the next topic. 84.02 whole square, 42.99 whole square, 85.99 whole square, 42 whole square. So this will be 85.99, 86 square, 86 into 86 into 42 into 42. How much is this? 84 into 84. 42.99 is 43 into 43. So I want x value. X is equal to this by this. So we'll write 86 into 86 into 42 into 42 by 84 into 84 into 43 into 43. Now it is easy, right? 43 goes 2 times in 86. 42 goes 2 times in 84. 2 will get cancelled. So my answer should be 1. Correct. Correct. So 84.02 and take it as 84. 42.99 will take it as 43. Correct. 1 is correct. Vidya. 85.99, 86. Right. We have seen few questions from simplification and approximation. Let us look at quadratic comparisons. Finding the basically what happens is he'll give you two quadratic equations. Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. That's the general form. You have to find the roots of the quadratic equation. You can find roots of quadratic equation using two methods. One using formula minus b plus or minus under root b square minus 4ac by 2a. So this is a coefficient of x square, coefficient of x is b and c is constant. Second one is factorization method, and I suggest preferably you have to use factorization method. If you want to use factorization method, then students you have to be comfortable with multiplication tables, right? So you have to learn multiplication tables up to 20, then factorization will be easy. Let us find out roots of x square plus 7x plus 12 is equal to 0. I have given a very simple question. Let us try using formula. My a is 1, coefficient of x square, b is 7, coefficient of x, c is 12. Substitute there, students. Minus 7 plus or minus b square is 7 square minus 4ac, 4 into 1 into 12 by 2 into 1. So minus 3 minus 4. Roots are minus 3 minus 4. Let us try factorization method. You can substitute later. Try factorization method. How will you try? How will we do this? I'll tell you shortcut little later. Let us look at this. X square plus 7x plus 12 factorization method. X square 7x can be written as 4x plus 3x. From these two, take x common. If you take x common, x into x plus 4. From these two, take 3 common. What will happen here? If you take x common, x into x plus 4. If you take 3 common, x plus 4. Again, we can take x plus 4 common. X plus 4 into x plus 3 is equal to 0. So x plus 4 is equal to 0. X plus 3 is equal to 0. So x is equal to minus 3 minus 3. Instead of doing, we don't have so much of time, right, in the exam. For one question, you have to one x square equation, another y square equation. You have to compare those two roots. So, students, what I'm trying to tell you here is, see here, you see, if I multiply, I should get 12 because you will multiply with these two, right? Coefficient is 1 here, nothing is missed 1. So, you have to multiply, you get 12. If you add or subtract, you should get 7. So, what are the factors 4 and 3? Because if you see here, if I add, I should get 7. So, 4 and 3. So 4 into 3 is 12, 4 plus 3 is 7. While writing roots, you have to change the sign. If you are having positive number, root will be, you have to change the negative sign. Minus 4, minus 3. And you have to divide by coefficient of x square. Coefficient of x square is 1 here. Minus 4 by 3, minus 3 by 1. So it is minus 4 comma minus. These are the roots. You got the point? X square plus 7x plus 12. If I multiply, you have to multiply constant term and x square coefficient. 12 into 1 is 12. If I add or subtract, I should get 7, the middle term. It must be equal to middle term. 12 factors are 4 into 3, 12, 4 plus 3, 7. So if the numbers increase, if you are comfortable with multiplication table, then definitely it will help you. So roots, when you are writing the root, you have to change the sign. You have to write minus 4, minus 3, you have to divide with the coefficient. Is 1 here, coefficient of x square. So minus 4 by 1, minus 3 by 1. So learning multiplication tables will help you to get these factors. Ax square plus bx plus c, what is sum of the roots minus b by a? What is product of the roots? C by a. So in quadratic equation, sum of the roots minus b by a, product of the roots is c by a. Why I am discussing this is, few times what happens is you need not simplify quadratic equations. You can easily compare them. Let us say these are my two roots, two quadratic equations. X square minus 15x plus 26 is equal to 0. Y square plus 7y plus 10 is equal to 0. Now students, can you tell me, compare these two, tell me which is greater? The first equation, second equation, the roots. First equation is greater than second equation, less than second equation, greater than or equal to, both are equal to, less than or equal to, or no relationship. Can you try this? I'll give you 30 seconds, try this. Right, another 5-10 minutes will wind up, students. No. So don't get into solving these equations. I'll tell you one trick here. What is product of the root c by a? 26 by 1. Product of roots is positive. What is my sum of the roots? minus b by a. Minus of minus 15 means sum of the roots is positive. Sum positive, product positive. Product of the roots positive means both the roots can be positive or both the roots can be negative. But the sum of roots is positive, so we can clearly say that both the roots are positive here in this case. Both the roots are positive. Let us take second case. What is sum of the root? Product of the roots positive, sum of the roots negative. Product of the roots positive means both the roots can be positive or both the roots can be negative. Minus into minus is plus, plus into plus is minus. But what is their sum? If I add, I should get negative. So both the roots are negative here. Don't find out the values, not required. Both are positive roots, both are negative roots. Obviously, positive value will be more than negative value. So first equation, quadratic comparison relationship is this is more than this, right? Let us take up individual quant questions. What is important is learning basic concepts, because see, the point is, if you want to increase your speed and accuracy, first learn concept, then speed and accuracy can be, you can build up those things by practicing more number of questions. Also, main exam, you see that you have little more time, right? Because also you have to you'll have application based questions when you take your DIR quant. So you have to be good at your concepts. Also, you will have questions on data sufficiency and data comparison. Students, you have to be more concept oriented. So learn basic concepts, then practice more number of questions and models to improve the speed and accuracy. So what is important is smarter way of solving the questions, logical approach, observation based questions, and most importantly, students, what you need to do is minimize the number of steps while writing, right? Minimum number of steps, right? Let us take this question. In a zoo, there are certain number of peacocks and rabbits. The total number of heads equal to 80. Total number of legs are equal to 200. Find the number of rabbits. Anybody would like to try? Can try this question. I'll not. I have some 4-5 questions here. Maybe time is not sufficient. I'll not discuss all of them. Maybe 2-3 we will see, students. In a zoo, there are certain number of peacocks. Total heads are 80. Total legs are 200. Peacock or rabbit will have only one head, so I can say the total number of animals are 80. Peacock will have 2 legs. And rabbit will have 4 legs. Try these students. Peacock 2 legs, rabbit will have 4 legs. Can I expect answer from you? You can answer, but point is like, don't see, you can frame the number of rabbits is equal to x. Number of peacocks will be 80 minus x, because rabbits plus peacock total heads are 80. So each rabbit is having 2 legs. So x rabbits will have 2x legs. And number of peacocks are 80 minus x. Each peacock, there will be 2 legs. So 2 into 80 minus x is equal to 200. Solve this. You will get x is equal to 20. This is how you frame equation. Don't say x peacocks, p peacocks, or rabbits, p plus r 80, 2p plus 4r. Don't frame 2 equations. I'm saying rabbits x. Instead of 2 equations, I'm framing only 1 equation. Peacocks 80 minus x. So rabbit will have 4 legs, x rabbits 4x. Peacock will have 2 legs, 2 into 80 minus x is 200, x is equal to 20. Instead of framing 2 equations, some of you might frame 2 equations, right? X, y, x plus y 4, then 2x plus 4y is equal to 200 and solve. Don't do all this. I'm saying what is important is taking coaching is very important. Why taking coaching is important? Because the smarter way of solving this question. This question I can solve orally. How will you solve orally? Let us say all of them are peacocks. Let's say all 80 that are present are peacocks. Let us assume all of them are peacocks. Then what will be my total number of legs? 80 peacocks means 2 into 80, 160. But actually, what are my total number of legs? 200. So how many more legs I am getting? 40 more legs. Why I am getting 40 more legs? Because all of them are not peacocks, some of them are rabbits. Rabbit will have how many legs? 4 legs. Peacock will have how many legs? 2 legs. When you compare with peacocks, rabbits will have how many legs more? 2 legs more. 40 by 2, I'll say there are 20 rabbits. There are 20 rabbits in that particular. This is what I'm saying. Smarter way of solving question. Let us say all of them are peacocks. 280 peacocks means each peacock 2 legs, 2 into 80, 160 legs. But I have 200 legs, right? So I'm getting 40 legs more. Why 40 legs more? Because all of them are not peacocks, some of them are rabbits. Right. So 2 legs more. Rabbit is having 4, peacock is having 2. 40 more, 2 legs more, 40 by 2, 20 are rabbits. I'm saying smarter way of solving this question. Try this question, students. Average of 4 consecutive numbers. You know consecutive numbers, right? A, B, C, D, one after the other. 34.5. Find the product of B and D. What we generally do, We'll take consecutive numbers means one after the other. X plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3. Average means add all those sum of all quantities by total number of quantities. By 4 is 34.5. If you solve this, you'll get x is equal to 33. Multiply, the numbers are 33, 34, 35, 36. Product of B and D, 34 into 6. See, the calculation is 34 can be written as 35 minus 1. 36 can be written as 35 plus 1. So A minus B into A plus B, A square minus B square. 35 square, we know 1225 minus B square is 1 square 1, 122. Now, if I would like to answer orally, if there are 4 consecutive numbers, A, B, C, D, average is given by first term plus last term by 2. It can be A plus D by 2. Or it can be average of middle 2 terms, because these are consecutive integers. We take consecutive integers in progression, first term plus last term by 2. Or you take second from the first, second from the last by 2, third from the first, third from the last from by 2. Or if there are 4 numbers, have 2 middle terms, so average of those 2 middle terms, B plus C by 2. If we have 5 terms, A, B, C, D, E, the middle term is C, that itself will become average. The middle term will be average. If there are even number of terms, it is an average of middle 2 terms, B plus C by 2. Now students, A plus D by 2 is average 34.5, A plus D 69. We know that the difference between A and D, these are consecutive numbers, right? A and B, there is an increase of 1, B and C, there is an increase of 1, C to D, there is an increase of 1. So D minus A, the difference will be 3. Right? Solving these two, D is equal to 36. I'll get D is equal to 36. We get 36 into 34, B is equal to 34. So we'll get 34 into 36, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 4. Or I'll tell you one more shortcut here. Instead of doing all these, you notice B plus C by 2. How much is B plus C by 2? 34.5. B plus C by 2, the average of these two is 34.5. B and C are consecutive numbers. Average is 34.5 means B should be 34, C should be 35 because it is middle value. B 34, C 35. So what should be my D? 36. I want product of these two. 34 into 36. Oral approach. Right? See, average marks of 24 students. I'll take up only this question, then we'll stop here. We'll take up other things. Average marks of 24 students is 56. 3 students marks wrongly taken as 44, 45, 61. Actually, they should be taken as 48, 59, 67. Instead of these 3, they have taken these 3. Find the corrected average. Average is sum of all quantities by total number of quantity students. So total marks of 24 students, average 56 into number of students 24. Total is average into number of quantities 1, 3, 4, 4. So what is total of misread? What is the wrong scores? These 3 students, they are misread as the total is 150. Actually, I should take 174. So 1344 minus, we have to remove these 3 and we have to take these 3. Minus 150 plus 174 by 24. You solve this 1368 by 24. See, a lot of calculations are involved, right? Orally, how can you solve these? I'll get average 57. Orally, how can you solve this here? Total of misread scores is 150. Total of actual scores I have to take is 174. See, I'm removing this, I'm taking this. That means instead of 150, we are taking 174. But total will increase by how much? 24. Now these 24, I'm getting how much extra? I'm removing these 3 marks because these are wrong. I'm taking these 3. Instead of 150, I'm taking 174. I'm getting how much extra? 24 extra. These 24, we have to divide among how many students? There are 24 students. If you divide 24 among 24 students, each student will get how much? Each student will get 1 extra. If each student is getting 1 extra, my average will also increase by 1. So 56 plus 1, my average should be 57. 56 plus 1, my average should be 57. There's a rule in average. Each quantity is increasing by K. Average will also increase by K. So don't get into all those calculations. These 3 are wrong, these 3 are correct. So instead of 150, I have to take 174. That means my total, instead of 150, I'm taking 174. My total will increase by 24. This extra 24, you have to distribute to how many students? 24 students. Distribute 24 to 24 students. Each student will get 1. So each student is increasing by 1. So average will also increase by 1. So instead of 56, it is 57. So what I'm trying to tell you, students, is coaching definitely required. You should have exposure to all these approaches. Then only your speed will improve. Solving in a regular approach, anybody can do. But if you take coaching, you will get this kind of difference. I can answer questions orally. I've taken a few more questions, but we are running short of time. I'm not taking those questions, students. Okay. Let us not discuss those. Maybe next time we'll discuss those questions. Let us look at data interpretation. This is one important thing. Important points. See, data interpretation, you have to spend some time in reading the data and the questions. Read the title, that is very, very important. Look at the data. And after looking at the data, look at the question, then analyze the data. That is also very, very important. Then note down the units given in the data and the question. Because what happens is, in the data units, rupees, for example, given in lakhs, questions can be asked in crores, questions can be asked in million. So units are very important. 1 lakh is how many zeros? 10 power 5. 1 million, 10 power 6. 1 crore, 10 power 7. 1 billion, 10 power 9. So students, I am saying you should be thorough with the units, note the units. Sometimes what happens is, apart from the data given in the table or pie chart, outside it will give you a note or you put a star mark, some additional information is given. Based on this additional information, there might be 1 or 2 questions, or sometimes what happens is, if you miss this additional information, all 5 questions might go wrong. Then as I told you earlier, all questions will not be of same difficulty level. There will be easy, moderate and difficult questions, students. So identify easy questions, solve them in your first round. So these are my different types. Tables. Easy to understand among all models, bar graph, line graph, pie charts and case lists. Tables are easy to understand, students. Tables are easy to understand. Then don't copy all the numbers on your rough sheet. This is an online exam. Almost all bank exams and SSC exams are online. You try to add, subtract, multiply, divide from the screen itself. And once you look at the table, don't try to add all column totals, row totals. Not required. Depending on the question we do. Don't copy on the rough sheet data. It is time waste. And try to add and subtract there itself. And don't try to add all columns and rows. Not required. Right? Don't find out all the sum. Depending on the question, we can do that. Bar graphs, we have normal bar graph, we have stacked bar graph, we have histogram. Bar graph and line graph, there will be observation based question. That means you need not use pen and paper. Certain questions can be answered easily. Then pie charts, you will have single pie chart, you have double pie chart, you have triple pie chart. Pie chart can be given in percentages distribution. If you add all the percentages, it must be 100%. Pie chart distribution can be given in degrees. Add all the degrees, it must be equal to 360. Right, students? Sometimes what happens is the comparison of bases. Pie chart totals will be given. If you compare those totals, if you take the ratio or compare those bases, most of the times it will be easy to answer the questions. Then we have caselets. Caselets, I told you, leave caselets in the exam, don't take it, because they are generally time consuming, and if you make a mistake, entire data will go wrong. So caselet should be your last option. Data given in verbal form, in like your reading comprehension, it will be given like these passages. Read the data, capture this data either in the form of table, sometimes you have to capture in the form of Venn diagram. It's a students like 3 hobbies or from 3 different states, writing 3 different exams. When there are 3 parameters or more, it is better you take in a form of a Venn diagram. Should be attempted in the last, that too if time permits. Otherwise, don't attempt. So types of questions, the data. See, the point is data can be represented in several forms. See, the same question I can represent in table, the same question I can represent in form of bar graph, in the form of line graph, in the form of pie chart. But more or less question type will remain same. Addition based questions, he will ask you what is the sum, what is the difference, what is the average, or percentage based questions. When I say percentage based questions, you have percentage, I am not going to discuss, just look at this. Percentage increase, percentage decrease questions. 300 to 500, what is the increase? Increase or decrease are given by difference by initial value. Initial value is starting value. 200 by 300, 2 upon 3, 66%. Percentage decrease, 700 to 400. Difference 300 by base value. Starting value 700. 3 by 7, 42.8. So it will be percentage increase or decrease question, or it can be one of these questions. A value 40, B value 50. B is what percentage of A is what percentage of B. A is how much percent less than B. B is how much percent more than. Anything that follows of, anything that follows than should be in the denominator, right? Anything that follows of or than. Of and than are keywords. Anything that follows, it should be in the denominator. So B is what percentage of A? I am comparing B with A. So A is after of. So A in the denominator, B in the numerator. 50 upon 40, 5 by 4, 125%. A is what percentage of B? A by B, 40 by 50, 4 by 5, 80%. A is how much percent less than B? B is how much percent less or more is given by difference. I'm comparing with B here. I'm comparing with A. Accordingly, you'll get the percentages. So percentage questions is like increase, decrease, percentage less, this what percentage more than this, or this is what percentage of that, that is what percentage of this. Then, if you see here, second type of questions is your percentage growth questions. He will ask you overall growth or growth between 2 years, or he'll ask you average growth, average annual growth. Let us say we have generally average annual growth is final value minus initial value by initial value into 100. This will give me percentage increase into 100 by n minus 1. Average annual growth is if there are n years, you have to divide by n minus 1. Keep this point in mind. Right? So observation based questions will also be there. So overall growth questions can be asked, or growth between any 2 years. What is the percentage increase from here to here, decrease from here to here can be asked. Average growth, average annual growth rate, AGR, is basically nothing but percentage increase divided by, if there are n years, 5 years divided by 4, 6 years divided by 5, 10 years divided by 9, n years divided by n minus 1. These are new question types asked in quantitative aptitude students. Data sufficiency based data interpretation. Question will be of DI, set will be given, but questions will be of data sufficiency based questions. Then we have quant based DI. I told you profit loss based DI, simple interest compound interest based DI, time and work based DI. Then you have fill in the blank based DI questions. Fill in the blank based DI, sorry, not DI, fill in the blank based quant question. That means quant question is given, but blanks are given. You need to fill those blanks. And you have case-led based questions, common data question. These days, common data is given, followed by 2 or 3 questions, right? This is about your data interpretation. Now, whatever I'm saying, you new data interpretation questions, data sufficiency based data interpretation, new types of questions, or fill in the blank based questions, or question is given quant question. Question is which of the following can be found out, data sufficiency type question. See, the point is, if you want to get into a bank job, I'm saying this is the right time. Don't waste your time sitting at home. Yes, it will take some more time to get to normal, but students, what you need to do is try to start your preparation as early as possible. So you can attend webinars, you can refer our books, we have given general sessions, or you can take our correspondence course material, you can practice. Our best way would be, you should have someone to guide you. So I'm saying, join our time online classes. Already we have started, we are having many batches running on throughout the country, and students have joined. Believe me, they have given a good feedback to us. We are providing you best quality classes available in the market. What is important is you should have good quality material. All new models we have included in our material till 2020 January. All models are included in a study material, in our handouts, or included in our what you called in our mock tests, in our sectional tests, and everything. You should have good quality material. Yes, we have a big R&D team who job is to look at all different papers, include all the models, give it, update your material. We update our material time to time. Second, good quality classes. You need good faculty members. We are providing you the best faculty members. The classes are of top class. Believe me, the top classes are of top class. And you should have good learning platform. We are providing you good learning platform. You can watch these videos on your mobile. You can download our app, Time for Bank Exams. You can watch. You can also watch these videos on your mobile or computer, desktop, on your laptop also you can watch. On your mobile you can watch. Friends, good learning platform, good quality material, good faculty member. That is where time will come into picture. There are hundreds of players in the market. They have not even updated the material. You can look at the quality of the classes. You can compare. We also uploaded demo videos. You look at the quality of the questions, look at the quality of the classes, then only you join. I'm saying we are providing you the best, the top class material and top class materials. Take my word, you can go ahead and join. Yes, we are providing 2 options. You can join now. You can upgrade later to 1 year. You can continue classes till 1 year. Maybe once this lockdown is over, everything is back to normal. You can pay the difference amount. You can come back and you can actually you can attend our regular classroom program also. That means you can have these online classes as well as your offline classes. You don't want to upgrade? Don't worry. You can still continue online also. Then you can also upgrade to 1 year. You can also upgrade to bank plus SSC. That means we will train you for bank plus we'll charge some extra money and we'll train you for SSC also. That GK part, physics, chemistry, botany, geography, history, that will help you to write bank exams, SSC exams, railway exams, insurance. You will be ready with all the exams, right? So if anything, you can always get back to us. You can go there and read the details given there. You can always, we have information there. If you have any queries, then also you can send us a mail. ICET2020@timeforEducation.com. That's our email ID. The same platform where we are running this webinar. You can always send us your mail. If you have any queries, you can post me. We can take up these question and answers. Most of you have answered these questions very well, and thank you so much for participating, students. Hope all of you enjoyed the session. So we will have similar sessions maybe little later, maybe the next week or a week after that. We will also see English preparation. We will also see reasoning preparation, students. Right? Thank you so much for attending. So any questions, you can always share your feedback, students. Right? Thank you so much.